So, are you guys ready for the story?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how detailed I'm going to be, so maybe I'll tell you not to tell a detail or two, because if it's private. Okay?
Okay.
I know you don't mind the details, right?
I like
Okay.
details.
I know. Are you ready, Mom? Are you okay? Yeah. Okay. So, yesterday, Mom and I, can you believe this was yesterday? We came here to Ajabada, not to this hospital, but to my doctor's clinic to get just a little checkup. And she told me she thinks that the baby was waiting for my mom, and she thought the baby was going to come really soon. And she was right. Last night we went to bed. Scott and I went to sleep at like 9 or 10, just were reading and went to sleep early, which is a good thing. Because at 1 o'clock I woke up, okay, let's be really gentle with our elbow there. 1 o'clock I woke up with
Ellie, we'll come here.
contractions.
You can sit there.
And I was lying in bed and I thought, this is weird. I feel a few contractions that
Do you
hurt.
want your water?
And I looked at my clock and it was 1:15, so I realized they were maybe like 6 or 7 minutes apart. And so I think I got Scott up and I maybe she took a shower to kind of relax or whatever. But then they were all of a sudden coming every 3 minutes apart.
Ooh.
And lasting like 30 seconds to 1 minute. And so the doctor had kind of said to me, because my mom, her second baby birth was me, and it was only 3 hours. And Ellie came pretty quickly, and so my doctor was kind of concerned that this baby would come really fast, and we didn't want to have the baby in the taxi or anywhere else. So she said, come earlier rather than later. So I wasn't really ready to go because I still felt kind of happy. But we also didn't want to have the baby at home or in a taxi. And so we called Angela, who's so wonderful, you guys. She was so great. I'll tell you more details later, but our friend Angela came to our house and went with us in the taxi. Scott and I got all our stuff together. We left at 2, and we got here like 10 minutes later. There was no traffic. And we had prayed that I would go into labor in the middle of the night because we didn't want to be in traffic and didn't want the neighbors to see, just because that's not very comfortable, you know. You want to sit by your mommy? That sweet girl.
Hi, baby.
Yes, and what's the baby's name?
Do you want me to hold the baby?
Would you like to hold the baby? I should have offered.
Yes.
She just
I
is
guess.
so
Here, I'll
sweet.
just pull her pants down
Cozy.
over my dirt.
Here,
Ellie,
her hair.
my shirt down.
Okay, let me give you her hat because we don't want her getting chilled. Here you
That's
go.
right. Chilly day in May.
She didn't do her hair today yet, so we don't want it. Okay. You want to hop down? Okay, that is just fine. If you want to sit by mommy, you can too. So we got here, and it was weird for me because I thought, I feel way too happy to be entering the hospital. Like, I'm in a good mood. Things are way too easy. The contractions were coming every 3 minutes, but I don't know, they were bearable. And between it was like complete bliss, no pain. And so I felt kind of silly, like, I should act like I'm in more pain. So I don't know, it just felt kind of silly. The doctor, I called her on the way and she came and she checked me, but she didn't tell me how far dilated it was because I didn't want to know because I thought it could be like a psychological hurdle if I ever found out, so I just tried not to know. And they were really busy last night actually, and so they brought us to this room initially, which was like the bed didn't look like this. It was like a normal bed. It was just super comfortable, and so it was great because we could turn down the lights. There was a shower. Like we turned on the music that I wanted, and Scott just massaged me, and Angela was like doing everything, getting water for us, making sure we had music, sending texts, and they were both just so helpful. And I don't know, I mean, I guess I was just in here a few hours and I was in so much pain. The contractions were coming like every minute or two and hurt.
This is once you were here.
So bad in this room. Yeah, this is when things, so I found out later when the doctor first checked me, I was 4 centimeters dilated, which is like the beginning of active labor. But most women, I guess some people, you don't really want to be a 4, you want to be like 7 when you check in. Or I guess a 4 is okay, but we didn't really have a choice. We made a decision to be safe and come here, so you know what I mean. I didn't know till later. Anyway, so I moved to be a 7 or 8 probably in this room, which is like a really hard time of labor. But I mean, honestly, there were some contractions I was crying, like bawling, because I really thought I couldn't do it. It was so hard. It was so painful. This was not my experience with Ellie. It was not as painful. And Angela would be on this side of the bed. She was holding my hands and just telling me it's going to be over really soon. You're going to have a break. And she was praying for me and saying you're doing so good. Scott was massaging my back, and every contraction I just kept saying to myself, relax and open up. And I was like imagining a flower with the baby's head coming out. You know, like trying to imagine things like my cervix opening up to help me get this to open so that the baby could come out.
I know where you read that.
Where did I did?
In that one book. Remember when we were sleeping at their house and I was looking through that book?
Oh, the birth
I'm
book?
Amazed Guide to Childbirth.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
I
I
remember.
read that. That if you think about that, then it like happens or whatever.
And Angela was so sweet. She's like, you are doing what, baby? She goes, you are doing such a good job. She said that when I was in a contraction, I was completely relaxed. She's like, I don't know how you're doing this. You should be a model in a book, like a Bradley Method book, because she said your hands, she was holding it, she said they're not tense at all. You know, because usually when you're in pain, you tense up. That's like your body's natural response. So it's really hard in childbirth to relax. That's what you have to like try to do. So I just kept going and doing it like every contraction. They were coming and coming and coming. I was like, I guess this one I know. Angela, I don't know how much longer I can do this. This hurts so bad. I mean, she's like, you're doing great, whatever. So the doctor came up here and checked me, and she didn't tell me again, which I'm glad, because I was at a 7. But she left me here for a little bit and then came back and they moved me downstairs to the delivery room. And there, you know, it's really medical, but they turned the lights down and the doctor was, I don't know, I mean, they really just left us alone for the most part. I mean, they came in to do paperwork and all this blah, 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 blah. But Angela would intercept them every time, and like anything she could do, she did for us so that Scott could help me. I mean, it was like, yeah, if people ever try to have natural birth in a hospital, they need a doula because she was so helpful. Without her and Scott, I wouldn't have done it. I had no way. I actually was saying, I said, Angela, I want the doctor to cut my cervix open. Because I just wanted it to open up to for the baby to come out because it hurt. It was hurting. It just was not like that with Elliot. I don't know what was different. I think because it was faster. And so the pain got like harder, faster, but the endorphins didn't have time to catch up, I think. That's my fear.
I want raisins.
You want a raisin? Okay, we have raisins right here. You can ask Lydia.
Here you go.
Abla. Say, Lydia, may I have a raisin, please?
These?
So we got down there and I could feel that I was getting towards the end. Like I could feel that the baby was moving down because Scott kept massaging me lower and lower and lower. And it just felt like it was getting, but it was one contraction on top of another. Like sometimes it was just like continual contractions for a long time. So I think we went down there at 5 and she was born at 5:38. So like from 5 to probably 5:30, I was finishing up opening. You know, and the other thing with Ellie is I remember distinctly out of nowhere, and it just like, I need to push now. And I felt so much better. It didn't hurt anymore. It just was like pushing. But with this baby, with Sophia, it was actually, it still hurt. It was like painful contractions, but then I also needed to push. So I was like, this is not, I kept saying like, this is not how it was with Ellie's birth. Like I didn't really want that. I wanted the relief. But then eventually it came. And so I was like, they had stuff all over the floor for me, my doctor, so I could have I could use the birth stool, I could sit wherever I want. And I was like squatting, but holding on the back of one of these beds. I broke the bed. Because when I was pushing, I pulled it so hard, it was grunting, like, ah, and pulled it down. I mean, it might have not been like a permanent break, but something happened to it. So they had to fix it for me. But it felt so good to have something to like pull. It gave me strength to push. Because when you push, I mean, it's really hard. And so then I was doing that for a long time and kind of like on my tippy toes, but then, I don't know, I just followed what my body felt like it needed to do to get more comfortable. And I turned around and stood up a little bit. Oh, I know, I was like on the edge of this, I don't know if it was this one, on the ground there, but my arms were back and I was holding on and I was pushing my pelvis out and I pushed that way. That's how she came out, but the doctor was like, okay, stop pushing. You know how they do that? Well, you'll be pushing and they're like, stop, because they don't want you to tear. Which is the hardest thing you can ever imagine doing, is stopping pushing when you're so close, because you're in so much pain, so you just know, if I just push a little bit more, the baby will be out and it'll be over. But if they tell you to stop, so it's like walking through fire. It's like you're choosing more pain. It was so painful. And so I stopped pushing because I didn't want to tear. But then at one point, at the end of her head coming out, like, she goes, stop pushing, because she was trying to just make sure it was slow. She was like putting Vaseline, I don't even know what was happening, it was crazy. anyways, I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not pushing, but my uterus was just pushed her out. But then usually they say like the head comes out and the rest just can slide out. But the shoulders were also very painful and hurt. But then she was out and she put her in my arms and I just held her and looked at her and she was breathing fine and was just fine. And I thought she's like the same size as Ellie and I don't know who she looks like. And so it was like really messy and gross. You know how, I mean, it's just so gross. There were lots of body, like, I knew I was getting really close when I was in the room here, and I just like took off my pants in front of Angela. She's my friend, you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. She goes, this tells me you're really close when you don't care about being naked in front of like a friend, because usually you would kind of not do that. So it was kind of encouraging, but it was so painful. I mean,
Yeah, modesty goes out the window.
it goes out the window. So I gave birth just in a tank top and my pants were off at the end. But it was so great. Like I got to wear what I wanted. The doctor was, I mean, she just let me do it. It was like she believed in my body. Whereas a lot of obstetricians, they're trained surgeons, and so they're like ready to do stuff. Okay, so then after the birth, everyone in the room, you know, has their job they want to do. They all want to do it at the same time. It's kind of frustrating because like they're trying to get you, you know, the pediatric nurse is trying to get you to breastfeed, and then the OB wants you to put your legs in the stirrups so she can see if you're tore or not. You're like, I can't do this happy thing and this not happy thing, you know. And then out of nowhere, you're like, they pour astringent on you down there. You're like, whoa, astringent. Anyways, listen to this. I didn't tear at all.
Yay.
I prayed that I would not tear, because with Ellie I tore it. It was like such a hard recovery. Then I prayed that my water wouldn't break till closer to the end, like till pushing, because I heard it can be less painful. And I mean, honestly, at the end, finally, I was like, okay, God, can you break the water? And I was pushing her, and the water broke. And so God answered like so many even little prayers, like that you would think, okay, this is like weird to pray about, but little details. It was so great. And so the doctor was looking, and she's like, you didn't tear. Like she couldn't believe, how could you not tear? Because we both didn't know if I did or not. Because at the end there, when Sophia just came kind of on her own, or she just, you know, I don't think she knew whether or not I stretched enough. So, anyways, it was so great. And then we just got all, you know, they clean you up. These poor ladies that have this job. I mean, you're sitting on the toilet and they're like wiping you, and there's blood coming out. Like, it's so gross. And this is their job. So gross. So, yeah, now we have another baby.
Yay,
Girl,
congratulations.
we didn't know she was going to be a girl. Everyone thought she was a boy. Everyone was like, oh, you definitely are having a boy. Is that cover the story? Do you have any questions? I know you do. I see.
Do you want me to keep recording or?
I guess you can stop in if it's a good question. Or maybe if it's like something. Or maybe you could stop and now I can answer like if you have really dirty questions.
The dirty questions. Okay.
Okay, you can stop
I'm just
it.
gonna